Happy Thursday, Facebook friends. Welcome back to Facebook this fine Thursday in May. I'm Angie Garza, Director of Professional Learning and Educational Services at ROE 47, serving Lee, Ogle, and Whiteside counties. And if you're joining us here on Facebook this Thursday in May, you'll know that we are closing out our 2021-22 school year. And this month on Facebook, we've been taking some time to celebrate and to reflect. So to have more of these rich conversations today about celebrating and reflecting on the 21-22 school year, I am very pleased to welcome to Teacher Talk this morning my friend, colleague, and co-host, Ms. Stacy Dingus. Good morning, Ms. Stacy.
Morning, Angie. Can't believe that yet again we're at the end of another school year, and what a year it has been. And so I think as a parent, a past teacher, I think we all give a sigh of relief that, we made it to another year, and happy to kind of focus on some of the positive things, like you said, the celebrating, because there was a lot of good things that came out of the school year. So I'm excited to have this conversation today and share some of those celebrations with everyone, all of our viewers.
Stacy, we need, you're right, we need these celebrations in our lives now more than ever. But, every year we try to take a moment to reflect, to take a pause, and to say thank you to those teachers and individuals in our lives who have helped us to kind of bloom and grow where we are planted. And so today, as we continue with our celebrations on Teacher Talk here on Facebook, we are very pleased to welcome to Teacher Talk our 2022 Marigold Award winner, Tara Profiter. And I'm going to introduce Tara in just a minute. But before I do, I want to remind all of our Facebook listeners just how special this recognition is. Each year, our office celebrates teachers who, as I mentioned, help us to bloom and grow wherever we are planted. That includes paraeducators, administrators, and K-8 teachers in Whiteside County who have really inspired others and to have helped others to learn and grow and to better serve their educational communities. We do this each year in honor and in celebration of our dear friend, Jen Banks. Jen was a school improvement coach and a literacy instructor for many years in our community. And Jen tragically lost her life in an automobile accident several years ago. And so in her honor and in her memory, we like to find those individuals who are those nurturing people and kind of plants in our educational gardens. And so this year we were very happy and very excited to once again recognize and honor and celebrate those educators on Facebook. Maybe many of you tuned in to read about some of those incredible stories and nominations. And the week culminated with a special celebration. And we, Stacy, have not been able to get into the classrooms in the last couple of years because of the pandemic. So how thrilling it was for Krista Peterson and myself to visit Tara Profiter at Rock Falls Middle School in Rock Falls to recognize her for all that she does for teachers, for colleagues, for students and families. And so, Tara, thank you so much, first of all, for all that you do for our fellow educators and our students. And congratulations on being the 2022 Marigold Award winner here for our Regional Office of Education. We would like to introduce you to our Facebook community. And so as we start off our Teacher Talk this morning, wondering if you might tell us a little bit about your educational story. How did you come to education? How long have you been at Rock Falls Middle School? What calls you to teaching? So I'm very interested to hear your calling.
Actually, when I went to college, I wasn't even thinking education. I went in as a math major, and I had a scholarship from Amcor Bank, and it was for volunteer work. And so I needed to keep so many hours of volunteering. So I found youth groups and camps and things I could do within the schools in South Bend that I could get some hours for. And I just kind of fell into working with kids. It was just more exciting. So I then started to think about doing elementary education, and I went that route. And then as I went through more of my schools, I started to really like middle school. And so I went with that endorsement, and here we are. Sixth grade math. I would say I've been here since 2004 at the middle school. I started in 99, but I had 5 years in the private schools. So I've been here since 2004. So this is ending my 18th year of teaching here, but 23rd overall. I've been fortunate enough here to be able to teach and coach at the same time. So I've coached a lot of kids, taught a lot of kids, a lot of connections that have been made. It's been a blessing to be here.
Tara, let me also say, repeat what Angie had said, and congratulations. I got to know you briefly when you participated in one of our book studies, and we had some great conversations there. And one of the things I appreciated is I felt like you really had a lot of experience under your belt when you were showing or sharing examples of different circumstances that had happened in the classroom or with your students. So 18 years is a lot of time to be at one school, to be in one community, affecting change with students. So what would you say is probably one, or maybe there's several major changes that you have seen kind of in the education world from when you first entered the classroom to current day?
One of the biggest changes is a lot of less papers. I remember my first few years of teaching, so many copies and extra copies and lots of things. Everything was hand graded, and the digital world has made that so much easier. I find I have so much more time to actually teach, and I don't have as much time that I have to grade a lot of hand graded papers. I still like to look through their work for math, but it's a time saver. Even just textbook shift going on to digital curriculum. There's so many things and bells and whistles at the kids' fingertips that they can actually find so much more resource. If I can't get to them to help them, we use a program that's got like a help me solve it. They've got walkthroughs, different videos of other teachers. So they really have so much more available that, even with remote learning, that's another shift that we had happening in the last couple of years. But even teaching and showing videos and being to record ourselves on a video through like Loom, or something like that, that I can start posting those. So even if kids are absent, I've got a video already collected that I can just send them one of me teaching a lesson that they can see, and they don't get as far behind if they're getting online and getting used to that. Co-teaching would be another one that we've kind of been pushing a lot more in the last probably 6 years now. I don't think we've found a perfect way of making it work, but it's been something that has been very beneficial, I think, to some of the kids to have those co-teacher opportunities. But those would be probably the two biggest shifts that I've witnessed since I started teaching.
And wouldn't it be interesting to see what your answer is in like 10 more years, because we never would have imagined that we're at where we are now. So that would be interesting. What about, I know that teaching has its ups and downs, but if you were to tell us one of, or maybe several of the most rewarding things being at Rock Falls Middle School, is there anything that stands out to you specifically, either a moment or an interaction with a student or something like that?
I would just say the staff overall right now, especially in the last couple of years, we've had such a shortage of substitutes. And sometimes you have to miss work. You have to be gone. Your kids are sick. You have to take them, or I'm sick and I have to be gone. Just last weekend, I was coaching my daughter's track team, and we were at the state track meet, and my sub had to switch because she was doing a long-term maternity leave, and somebody went into labor. So she had to go. And all of a sudden my rooms weren't covered, and everyone told me, just go, we'll take care of it. And my classes were covered. I didn't have to worry about it. I think 5 different bodies took care of my class that day. And we're all very willing to pitch in and help out and make sure that people are taken care of in their classrooms as they need to. So staff overall is just amazing. The kids though, I like the building is small enough that you can really get to know all the kids by name. I mean, we have, average 100 kids per grade. So it's really not that many kids to be keeping track of. It makes it, I think, easier for them to come back and visit and come back and say hi and let us know how things are going. And I like the close-knit feeling that we have while we're here.
Tara, one of the reasons why we decided to award the Marigold Award each and every year is not only to honor Jen, but to honor that spirit, to recognize that education is a labor of love. It's hard work. And, we really want to take that opportunity to say thank you to those individuals in our lives that have made a difference. And so, thinking about how tough this vocation is, this calling is, I oftentimes think about the fact that currently we have a shortage. We need to nurture and grow and support every single person who walks in our door who wants to be an educator. So I'm curious, kind of reflecting on your career and the relationships that you have with your colleagues and your students. Do you have any advice for any students or anyone who's even thinking about a career in education?
This one took me a while to really come up with something that would be like the top advice I think to give. But I really think just from the classrooms that I've been part of or been able to sit in on and observe, and I got to work with a couple of kids through the Pathways program this year, which was a wonderful experience. But I think anybody going into education needs to take the chance to sit in as many classrooms as you can, various grade levels, various teachers. There's not too many teachers in this building that teach in the same style, but everybody has a style that works. And I've picked up on so many different things that I've applied in my own classroom just by sitting in and watching different people teaching. It doesn't matter the subject matter, it just different people have different styles, and just be open to sitting in and asking questions and just observing as much as you can in multiple levels, because there's so much out there that you'll pick up on.
That's great advice. We talk about in our Pathways work how, thinking about vocations, thinking about going on to college sometimes is a very expensive career exploration endeavor. So, getting that experience early is extremely valuable. So I wanted to follow up. This is kind of off script here just a little bit, but I'm curious, what do you think when Krista and I kind of came in and ambushed you that Friday with a bucket of flowers and all kinds of goodies?
I was telling Stacy when we were chatting before, I said, I last year I was part of somebody helping to nominate somebody. So I'm like, I completely, know that this program comes around and that this, award comes up at this time of year. And this year it just like completely slipped my mind. I was in IAR mode, and then I was doing my STAR testing. And I started seeing on Facebook the other pictures popping up of people. And I was like, oh, I never got around to nominating anyone this year. And then when Todd came in my room and just was really awkward, I was like, why are you standing in my room? He thought you were right behind him and you weren't. So then he turned around, then I saw you and I was like, oh, I knew exactly what you were doing. But even then it didn't click to me. Like, it was like, I got the award, like this wasn't something that I was even thinking was going to like come into my classroom. But it was a very touching surprise. It took me a while to let it process while you were talking, and Cherie was in here and she was kind of, trying not to laugh at me because I was completely caught off guard. But even the kids were just like, what was that about? Like they couldn't stop talking about it after you left.
Congratulations to you and for, all of the work that you do. Again, not only with students, but I think we forget that whole relationship piece with our colleagues and helping to support them and providing, not only pushing ourselves to be better, but being that support when we need each other to lean on, especially in these tough times over the last several years. So, it's kind of like the whole, that's so interesting. It's like the whole pay it forward idea, right? So all that goodness comes back around, and we appreciate you nominating, and we so appreciate you as our 2022 Marigold Award winner. So thanks for all that you do.
Thank you.
Facebook listeners, I would like to close out our Teacher Talk today, sharing with you the Marigold effect. And so some of you out there might be wondering, why do we call it a Marigold Award? And this award is really embracing the spirit of the Marigold effect. So I wanted to close in sharing the story of the Marigold. Many experienced gardeners follow a concept called companion planting, placing certain vegetables and plants near each other to improve growth for one or more or entire beds of plants. For example, rose growers plant garlic near their roses because it repels bugs and prevents disease. Among the companion plants, the marigold is one of the best. It protects a wide variety of plants from pests and harmful weeds. If you plant a marigold beside most any garden vegetable, that vegetable will grow big and strong and healthy, protected and encouraged by its marigold. Marigolds exist in our schools as well, encouraging, supporting, and nurturing growing teachers on their way to maturity. If you can find at least one marigold in your school and stay close to them, you will grow. Find more than one, and you will positively thrive. So in honor and celebration of the Marigold and in honor and celebration of our dear friend and colleague, Jen Banks, we would like to congratulate one final time our 2022 Marigold Award winner, Tara Profiter from Rock Falls Middle School. Thanks for joining us here this fine Thursday in May as we close out our celebrations for the 21-22 school year here on Facebook. We hope that you have a beautiful rest of your Thursday and even better Friday. A glorious spring weekend as we head into the summer, and we'll see you right back here next Thursday for another edition of Teacher Talk.